What If Naruto at the Ten Tails Part 2? Let's go. From this day on, Naruto is allowed to go to the academy. Naruto was told that he shouldn't show people his true strength, but still keep training. By the way, Hiruzen said this. Naruto's teacher is, of course, Iruka, but as in the original, he's unaware of Naruto's true strength. Naruto goes into the academy and aces every single test he gets, though Iruka is told to keep that a secret else it could raise suspicion. Naruto is not particularly friends with anyone in the class, so Naruto tells Hiruzen he wants to go to the academy in the same year as Sasuke, as right now, he'd been going to the academy a little bit earlier. Because Naruto is already 9 years old, so Sasuke is also, meaning the Uchiha massacre already happened. Sasuke is almost as gloomy as in the original series. However, Naruto and Sasuke have grown a rather close connection in the past years. Naruto is hoping to get on Sasuke's team, well, when they become genin. That was one of the reasons he wanted to be in the same year level as Sasuke. One last time skip. Another 2 years later, we find ourselves in the academy, with Naruto, Sasuke, and sadly Sakura as well. Naruto and Sasuke become even closer. By the way, that was a joke. I'm not gonna bash on Sakura in this what if. She's alright. She's fine. Naruto and Sasuke become even closer. Sasuke knows Naruto trains in his free time, but he doesn't know that he trains with the Hokage himself, becoming incredibly powerful. Over the years, Hiruzen has also helped Naruto control more of the Jubi's chakra, and the Jubi does agree since he doesn't have any prejudice against Naruto. So Naruto is actually able to control some of the Jubi's chakra without having to going on a rampage, which is really good because if he ever did go on a rampage, the hatred for Naruto would grow universally, which then would likely result in a full force attack to kill and end Naruto's life. Naruto is actually only allowed to use the power that he needs for something whilst he is in the academy, so he won't hurt anyone else. Because at Naruto's level of strength, not even the teachers could stop Naruto if he went on a rampage, even if they wanted to. Naruto always tries to get the exact same score as Sasuke on any test that they get, as to not break their friendship. Because of course Sasuke does have that will to become the strongest and best at everything, so his close friend being better would not be great. Whilst they do have a friendly rivalry going on, Naruto, as well as, well, some of the teachers, want to prevent it from, becoming a real rivalry, if you know what I mean. Iruka and the other teachers were told to never let Naruto fight Sasuke, even just as a friendly match or a sparring match. They were never allowed or supposed to fight one another, because it could break their friendship and make Naruto go on a rampage, which even the Hokage is afraid of. As they had luck that Minato, who by the way also needed Hakuroma's help, was able to seal the Ten Tails. Anyone else would have no chance. Even a seal master like Jiraiya could not even come close to controlling the Jubi. Even though Naruto is thought of as tied with Sasuke in power, meaning he is a prodigy still, nobody in his class except Sasuke himself actually likes Naruto at all. Even Hinata is a little bit afraid of Naruto, because of all the stories she's heard of the monster that lies inside of Naruto. In the academy, they get kind of a crash course on monsters. With that, I don't really mean fictional monsters, but a little bit of information about the tailed beast, and of course they are told that all of them and all of their power and bloodlust lies inside of Naruto, which is not good for his reputation at all. On the day of the passing exams to become a genin, Naruto and Sasuke pass with flying colors, of course, but Mizuki doesn't allow that to stop him and his plans. Mizuki tells Naruto to steal the scroll of sealing, although Naruto knows that's a lie, but Naruto still steals the scroll, looks through it, and pretends to train with it. waiting for Mizuki to come and try to steal the scroll from him. Mizuki finally arrives and throws a shuriken at Naruto, and when Iruka is about to stop the shuriken and save Naruto, Naruto teleports behind Mizuki and pins him down in a heartbeat. Iruka is shocked, but before he can speak to him, Naruto teleports to the Hokage's office and tells Hiruzen what happened. Hiruzen suspected something like this would happen and felt Mizuki's evil intent before, though couldn't do anything without concrete evidence. Mizuki is now sent to prison, and Naruto is officially a genin, as he did technically actually pass the exams, but this was even more of a test and proof once and for all Naruto is more than capable of becoming a genin. Now comes the introductions for Team 7. Sakura Haruno, I want to protect the one I love and be with him forever, glaring at Sasuke. Sasuke says, I need to revenge my clan by killing a certain person, but I also need to surpass someone in strength. Then it's Naruto's turn, and he says, I'm going to become the strongest shinobi to have ever lived, and I'm going to become Hokage and prove to everyone that jinchuriki and quote-unquote monsters are people too. That speech somewhat reminds Kakashi of Obito's dream, but thinks nothing of it for now. Kakashi tells everyone about the bell test and tells them not to eat before the test, else they will definitely vomit. That scares Naruto a little bit, but he's determined to do whatever it takes to achieve his goal. On that same night, Naruto hears a deep voice. Your teacher lied. You should eat, else the test will be harder to pass. Naruto recognizes his voice as the Ten-Tails, and of course trusts him, because the Ten-Tails has lived for centuries, whilst Naruto's only a young child. Naruto eats dinner as well as breakfast and goes to the training ground. The three genin are waiting for Kakashi when he suddenly pops up out of nowhere. They ask him where he had been, and he replies, well, you see, I was lost in the ways of life. They all sigh, as they had heard many bad things, about Kakashi's tardiness. Kakashi now explains the test. They all go to their starting positions and count down. 3, 2, 1, go! Naruto immediately grabs Sasuke and Sakura and teleports them into the forest, using his flying Raijin that he previously set up before Kakashi came, as they had a little bit of time, as of course Kakashi was late. Naruto explains that the key to passing the exam is through teamwork, and getting the bells is basically impossible from a high-ranking Jonin. And never mind that, it's unnecessary to pass the exam. Sakura doesn't want to believe Naruto and tells Sasuke that Naruto just wants to distract him so that he can get the bells for himself. Sasuke disagrees and says that Naruto's probably right. It would make sense too. There's too much evidence proving he's right. First of all, have you ever seen a 3-man team with only 2 genin and 1 jonin? Of course not. Second, there's no way a mere genin can beat a high-ranking jonin like Kakashi, or even be expected to. Sakura nods, agreeing with what Sasuke said, even though it was basically the same thing that Naruto said too. They hatch a plan on how to work together to take Kakashi's bells. Kakashi at this time is getting curious. Why has none of them attacked me yet? Full 10 minutes has passed, but none of them have shown themselves, when all of a sudden, Sasuke yells, Fire Style! Fireball Jutsu! Kakashi jumps up into the air. At the same time, Naruto throws a kunai at Kakashi, and Sakura jumps up and goes in for a punch, so that Kakashi can't dodge the attacks anymore. Then, unexpectedly, Naruto teleports to the kunai using the Flying Thunder God technique, and snatches the belts from Kakashi. Naruto was so fast, the only person who was even able to see Naruto, even barely, was Kakashi himself. Naruto was so fast, Sasuke and Sakura did not even see Naruto move. Naruto now has 2 bells. He seemed to stay in place, and suddenly 2 bells dropped in his hands. Kakashi asks what he's going to do with them, just to see how this develops. Naruto throws one to Sakura and one to Sasuke, now having none himself. Everyone looks surprised, and Naruto tells them that in the shinobi world, those who break the rules are scum, yes, but those who betray their friends are worse than scum. Kakashi fell to his knees. almost shivering. How, how could he know that? Naruto looks at Kakashi for approval, and Kakashi mutters, yes. Kakashi tells them they all passed, and says that the key to passing the exam was of course with teamwork, and taking the belts was an unnecessary challenge. He asks which one of them figured out the secret to passing the exam, and which one made the strategy, and Sasuke and Sakura simultaneously say, Naruto. They all look at him very surprised. Kakashi dismisses them, but tells Naruto to stay behind, for a little chat. Naruto asks the sensei why. Naruto needed to stay behind. Kakashi asks, how? How what? Naruto responds, how did you take the belt so fast? That was Jonin level speed, if not even more. How did you pull that off? It was easy. I just used the Flying Thunder God. Specifically speaking, the Flying Raijin technique. A little more advanced, you know that, right? That's impossible. Only the second Hokage, its creator, and my sensei, the fourth Hokage, was able to use that technique. How could a mere child, a genin, use that? Or even know what it is? I am Minato's son after all. How do you know that? Who told you? Fine, I'll tell you. The Ten-Tails told me. You know, the tailed beast inside of me? He and I have been talking and training a little bit together. How is that possible? The seal should stop you from talking or even seeing the tailed beast. Never mind training with him. Well, it doesn't. But he's not as mean as everyone says. He's actually pretty kind. You're just like your father. Kakashi sighs. They keep talking for a while and actually have a pretty good time, when finally Naruto goes to the Hokage to tell him he passed the exam. As he is the only one Naruto can talk to, well, that is human. Hiruzen isn't surprised at all because Naruto has actually done the bell test with Hiruzen himself, and Hiruzen knows how powerful Naruto truly is. With insane speed, by using the Flying Thunder God, and battle smarts, Naruto is likely able to outsmart all Chunin, and maybe even some Jonin. You gotta remember, Naruto is only the canon 12 years old, just became a genin, and is already this powerful. So, Naruto is officially on Team 7 with Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura, and himself of course. They do their D-rank missions and are now about to meet with the Hokage to get their first C-ranked mission. When Team 7 meets Tazuna the bridge builder that they need to escort, Tazuna frowns, since Naruto as the Ten-Tailed Jinchuriki is famous, or rather, feared/hated, in every village, no matter what size. Tazuna is extremely upset and asks if a different team can escort him. How could a monster like him ever become a shinobi? Tazuna asked, disgusted. Naruto was about to pull a kunai to prove Tazuna wrong, but before he could, Kakashi just says, trust me, they're an exceptional team, and combined they have the power of a Jonin or more. Naruto relaxes his hand and tells everyone he is leaving for the day, secretly wanting to train instead of sitting around and not doing anything productive. Naruto suddenly vanishes and Tazuna just thinks to himself, boy, I really underestimated him. Naruto did want to show off a tiny bit, as he of course also has an ego like a normal person. On the next day, they go off on their mission. Naruto sees the puddle on the road when he clearly knows that it hadn't rained for at least a few weeks. Naruto throws a kunai at the puddle. The two demon brothers jump out, but before they could do anything to hurt the bridge builder, Naruto ties both Chunin to a tree that was next to the puddle. Naruto asks why they were trying to kill the bridge builder, but they refuse to answer. Naruto puts them under a very strong genjutsu, which makes the demon brothers feel themselves being stabbed and tortured for an hour straight, when in reality only a few seconds pass. This is similar to the genjutsu Itachi used on Kakashi, by the way, so it does also have a little bit of that time dilation, torture kind of feeling. By the way, he does this not with a Sharingan, as of course he doesn't have a Jojutsu, but he uses an ability that the Ten-Tails possesses, as the Ten-Tails does have the Rainy Sharingan, so he does have some of the abilities of the Rainy Sharingan. Therefore, as Naruto can use some of the Ten-Tails chakra, Whilst he doesn't have Rainy Sharingan abilities, he kind of has more skill in similar aspects, if you know what I mean. It might become more obvious in the future. Anyway, Naruto asks again, and the two demon brothers tell Naruto everything about Gato and his gang, as they're completely afraid, but also exhausted, for they don't want Naruto to do that Denjutsu thing again. They were already on their limit. Naruto and his team continue their journey when the mist surrounds them. Naruto catches a large sword that was thrown at the Team 7 and the bridge builder. Naruto smirks and says, "Hey, it's not nice to throw a sword at somebody who can't see you." Zabuza extremely angry. How could a mere genin catch his sword? Zabuza demands to get his sword back, and Naruto throws it back, so hard that it does a fair deal of damage to Zabuza. Zabuza is getting angrier and angrier by the second. Zabuza starts doing a complicated jutsu, but before he could finish, Naruto blitzes him with a flying Raijin and holds a kunai to Zabuza's throat. Haku throws his needles, but before they could hit Zabuza, making him look like he died, Naruto deflects the needles himself. This is because Naruto, with the Ten-Tails ability, he is able to sense chakra as well as malice or menace. So he was able to sense Haku's evil intent and knew that Haku would actually pretty much betray the trust and the story that he was about to tell Team 7, as that was all an act and a lie. Naruto yells out, "Come out, or I will force you to." Haku walks out with his hands in the air, showing he gave up. As Naruto held the kunai closer to Zabuza's throat, and Haku would never want anything to happen to Zabuza, especially not if he could stop it or hinder it at least. Zabuza asks for forgiveness, and if not for him, he asks Naruto to leave Haku alone, but Naruto doesn't want to hear it, and kills Zabuza. Haku, enraged by this, tries to attack Naruto, but gets pinned down by Naruto as well, and killed just as easily. Everybody, including Kakashi, is completely shocked. But I'll leave it off here. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.